What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Julia, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about my top tips for how I personally lost fat and improved my body composition. So I feel like I have to mention the body composition part because a lot of times when people are losing fat, they could be simultaneously gaining muscle. So maybe their weight doesn't change that much, but their body composition improves. And your body composition is basically your body's ratio of fat mass to muscle mass. So I'm gonna try to keep things super simple. And without further ado, make sure you're subscribed and let's get into my tips. And like always, all of this information is coming from my own personal experience, so take it all with a grain of salt. I just really love sharing my experiences with you all because maybe the exact same thing will work for you, or at least help you get a little bit more educated about the topic. So from my own experience, I have been keeping track of, I guess you could say, like my weight loss, fat loss journey since August. And since then, I have lost a total of 11.6 pounds. However, based off of how I feel, how I look in my progress photos, and just how I'm performing in the gym, I truly believe that majority of it is fat loss. I don't have a body composition tester here. I don't have an InBody. I don't have a bod pod. Like, I haven't actually tested my body composition, but based off of the progress photos that I've taken weekly and just the weight on the scale and how I feel in the gym, like I truly feel incredible, still super strong. I'm still lifting the same amount of weight. Like, if I have lost muscle, it's a very minuscule amount. So we're gonna be talking about what I did to help aid in this fat loss process. All right, my first tip for fat loss and improving your body composition is gonna be no shock, and it is to get educated. I feel like this is always my first tip. It's a very common theme in my YouTube videos because it is so freaking true. I'm always preaching about continuing your education and to never stop learning, because the more you know, the better. And the more you know about certain topics and situations, the better equipped you are at making decisions in those situations. So for example, I love health and fitness, so I personally want to learn as much as I possibly can about health and fitness. Hence why I became a certified personal trainer, why I studied sports nutrition in college. Like, I genuinely love this stuff and I want to know everything about it so that I'm able to take care of myself in the best way possible. So no matter what your goal is, whether it's fat loss or weight loss or just getting stronger in the gym or just being consistent working out, learn about that topic, educate yourself. There are so many incredible resources out there, and don't just jump to the first resource you see. Make sure you're learning from a trusted resource, whether it's research studies or whether you're actually signing up for courses and taking courses on the topics you want to learn about. Make sure you are learning from a trusted source, but make sure you are educated so that you can make educated decisions with your life, your health, your fitness. I promise it helps so freaking much. My next tip for fat loss has to do with how you train, and that is to prioritize strength training. If you are trying to burn fat, first of all, you cannot spot reduce. It's a proven thing. It is absolutely impossible to spot reduce. However, if you are trying to burn fat, overall fat in your entire body, resistance training, strength training is going to be the best bang for your buck, because if you are strengthening the muscles in your body and building muscle, you are basically building fat burning machines. Muscle is a fat burning machine. The more muscle you have on your body, the more calories your body just burns at rest, and the faster your metabolism is. So don't just think that cardio is the end all and be all. In fact, cardio is gonna get you your fat loss way, way slower than strength training would. So my tip and what I personally did was really focus on my strength training. I gave it my all when I was in the gym. I was pushing myself with the weight selections. I was very strategic with how I programmed out my workouts, and I made sure I was getting all of my lifts in, and I didn't stress about cardio at all. Strength training was my main priority, and that is a huge, huge tip to anyone who is trying to lose fat. Don't think that cardio is the answer. I promise you, strength training will get you there a heck of a lot faster, and you will create that lean, toned looking body that you want way faster than you would if you were just doing cardio. All right, tip number 3 is all about prioritizing protein in your diet. I'm sure we've all heard this a million times, and this kind of goes hand in hand with my last tip about prioritizing strength training. If you're working those muscles, you also need to make sure you're properly fueling those muscles, giving them the protein they need in order to repair and rebuild so that you can hang on to and maintain that muscle mass you have while burning fat. Because remember, muscle is pretty much a fat burning machine. And if we want to improve that body composition, we need to hang on to that muscle mass and lose fat. So making sure that protein is still a priority and you're not neglecting it, that was a big thing I focused on. If you remember from my video where I talked about how I did a cut, I did track for the first 2, maybe 3 weeks of my cut, but since I'm such a creature of habit, I didn't really have to track after that because I pretty much eat the same foods every day. I absolutely love it, and I have no problem eating the same foods every day. But when I was tracking, I was making sure I was hitting my protein goal every single day because I knew how crucial it was for my progress and so that I could hold on to my muscle mass, because I didn't want to lose much muscle mass at all. Like if I were to lose it a little bit, it was okay, but I wanted to hold on to as much muscle mass as possible while losing some fat. So protein is key. All right, those last 3 tips I feel like are the foundational elements that are pretty common knowledge by now. You know, most people know you need to get educated, prioritize strength training, and prioritize protein in your diet if you want to lose fat and improve your body composition. Like, it's well known by now, and it's for good reason. Like, it holds so true. These next few things are gonna be the specific little things that I changed, adjusted, modified within my lifestyle so that I really started seeing results. Because let's be honest, I've been in health and fitness for years, for so long. I've been consistently working out for years and years. Like, I genuinely love it. I eat pretty darn healthy. But I did change certain things that really helped me start seeing results almost immediately. Like I said, from this past August 2022 until now, I have lost 11.6 pounds. And I can't remember another time in my life where I was actually successful at that type of weight loss or fat loss. So I really do think these things I'm about to talk about were crucial. And with that being said, my 4th tip is all about low intensity, steady state cardio in the form of incline walking. I have been loving incline walking. And if you watch my video about my training split, then you know this. I'm a huge fan of it. I love it so freaking much. I used to love HIIT circuits. Like, I was a HIIT girly. I was an F45 coach. I lived and breathed HIIT circuits. They were my pride and joy. Now, I can't even tell you the last time I did a HIIT circuit. Like, I have zero interest. I love my strength training. I love my outdoor walks. I love my incline walks. I used to run a ton, like 3 to 4 times a week, some long distance, some sprints. I'm not gonna lie, I still do every once in a while. I love a good sprint workout every once in a while, maybe like once a month. And I love a good run, maybe like 2 to 3 times a month I run, and it's really just to enjoy the weather. But for the most part, my cardio comes from walking outside and doing incline walks on the treadmill, and I absolutely love it. And it's because low intensity steady state cardio primarily burns fat while holding on to muscle, which is the goal, like I've said 1,000 times. And when you're doing these bodyweight HIIT circuits or long runs, you're kind of telling your body that it can burn the muscle. It doesn't need all that muscle to get through a bodyweight HIIT circuit or a long run. So a lot of times when you're doing those things, your body will burn some muscle and kind of hold on to some fat. So I personally really focus on getting my cardio through low intensity, steady state cardio while also prioritizing my strength training. It gets the job done. And last but not least, tip number 5 is more so just some insight into what I changed in my diet in order to start seeing progress and seeing success. So I'm gonna be honest, nutrition is the hardest piece of the puzzle for me, as it is for a lot of people. And it's also the most influential piece of the puzzle. Like, it really makes or breaks my progress. I'm someone who genuinely loves working out, loves getting outside on walks. Like, that's not hard for me, but really nailing down my nutrition is the most difficult part. So there were a lot of things I changed throughout these past 5 months that have truly made all the difference. So like I mentioned before, prioritizing your protein intake is key. It's no secret, but it's also not something I had to change about my diet. I've pretty much always prioritized my protein. Ever since learning about the importance of it, I've made sure to hit my protein goal if I'm tracking, and made sure to get plenty of healthy, lean protein sources in. So this wasn't something I had to work on or adjust or shift around. I kept my protein goal the same. Although I did have to adjust my calories, obviously. The first 12 weeks of my weight loss or fat loss journey were a cut phase for me. So I spent 12 weeks in a calorie deficit, just a very slight, minimal one, nothing crazy. And that calorie deficit, through consistency, got me down to my goal weight. Once I got down to my goal weight, I didn't want to just continue eating in a calorie deficit. That's not really good for your metabolism. So once I got down to that goal weight, I started going through a reverse diet. Basically, slowly, incrementally increasing those calories back up little by little while keeping an eye on my weight and just how I felt overall. And through that reverse diet, I eventually got my calories all the way back up to my maintenance from before my cut, while also losing an additional few pounds. Nothing crazy, but I did lose, I think, 2, maybe 3 pounds during that reverse diet. And it's because I just stayed consistent. I kept doing all my strength training, I kept doing my walks and my incline walks, and I truly feel incredible. But obviously I did have to shift around those calories in order to get me to my goals and have success reaching those goals. And then another thing I had to change within my diet, or I guess I didn't have to, but I personally did, and I found great success with it, was my carbohydrate intake. I personally increased my carbohydrate intake so freaking much. I love carbs. I have always loved carbs, and I wanted to experiment with them and increase them and see how it made me feel, how I was performing in the gym. And so when I started going through the reverse diet, I really increased my carbs over time, and it seriously made all the difference. I feel incredible. And it's no shock because carbohydrates are our body and our brain's primary and preferred fuel source. So it doesn't shock me that I feel so incredible when I have a pretty high carb diet, but that was definitely something that I changed, and I think it really made such a difference in how I felt and how I feel in the gym and just day to day. Like, I truly feel like I look my best, I'm performing my best, and changing around my carbohydrate intake and my calories here and there and keeping my protein the same really helped me find success. All right, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember what I've told you guys. I have been blabbing for so freaking long. I feel like this always happens whenever I'm speaking from my own experience, which is always, but hopefully you guys were able to follow me. Hopefully you're able to understand, and I'll quickly sum up my tips again. Tip 1 was to make sure you get educated. Tip 2 was to make sure you prioritize strength training. Tip 3 was to prioritize protein in your diet. 4 was very personalized to me and how I personally prioritize my cardio through low intensity steady state cardio rather than doing HIIT or long distance runs. And then tip number 5 was all about how I personally changed my diet, kept my protein goal pretty high, increased my carbohydrates, and obviously adjusted my calories as I went through my cut phase and then my reverse diet. So once again, this is very personalized to me and my own personal experience. Those are just the things that I changed within my lifestyle to help me get to where I'm at now. Take it all with a grain of salt. This is just me. We are all so incredibly different, and that's what makes us all so great. So make sure you are doing your own research, learning for yourself, and doing some trial and error on yourself, because once again, we are all so different. But hopefully this video helped give you guys some insight. If you did like it, don't forget to give it a like, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you all next time.